The types of drug crimes that we handle are anything from a simple possession of various types of drugs all the way through intent to sell, as well as trafficking. Trafficking being the most serious. And generally speaking, trafficking involves a larger quantity of the particular drug. It's more serious because they, generally speaking, have mandatory jail time attached to them. The consequences of being convicted of a drug crime are not just the potential for jail time. Oftentimes, if you're convicted of a drug crime, you could lose your driver's license, your professional license. It can certainly affect your immigration status if you're not a citizen of the United States. There are a lot of things that people just don't think about relative to the crime at the time it's happening. For instance, I had a young man who many years ago was convicted of a drug crime 20 years ago. He hasn't had any problems since. He recently applied to get a license to carry a firearm, and because of that drug crime back when he was 19 years old, he's permanently excluded from ever getting a license to carry firearms. Incarceration when it comes to drug crimes is going to depend on many different factors. What was the quantity of drugs that you had? Were you selling those drugs, or were you simply a user? What's your past record like? Have you done jail time before? These are all factors that are going to be taken into account when determining if incarceration is likely. In many cases, a person simply needs drug treatment. The person who is the user, for instance, is less likely to be incarcerated if we can show that really what they need is drug treatment. Even many times, those people who are selling drugs are only doing so to feed their own habit. Those people are oftentimes benefit from treatment, and the courts have become more and more aware of that. And if we can propose treatment as a possible alternative to incarceration, and that is what we'll try to do. The amount of jail time or jail time at all will definitely vary on the circumstances, though. Addiction and drug crimes go hand in hand. Almost every drug crime involves some sort of addiction. It's very rare to see even a drug dealer who doesn't also have a drug habit themselves. Because addiction is so prevalent and courts have looked at addiction more seriously over the years, treatment is almost always a good alternative if we can show the person is truly an addict. If you're watching this and you have a drug crime, please give us a call. We'll be happy to take you through the process and help you, guide you through what steps you might be able to take in your case. Beyond that, there are many different places where you could seek treatment. One of the first things I always tell a client who does have an issue with drugs is to do your best to get clean for two reasons. One, it's going to save your life. That's the most important reason. And two, if you proactively do something before the court's telling you to, it's only going to help your case in the future. I've been handling drug crime cases for my entire career. It's one of the mainstays of our practice. It's something that we have a lot of success with, mainly because oftentimes the police aren't doing the right things. Oftentimes the best defense to a drug crime case is attacking the police investigation and the stop and the search of you, something we look at very closely in any type of drug crime case. Client communication is key. It's one of the most important aspects of our job. We try and return phone calls, emails, or texts within the same day, hopefully within the same hour. If I'm not available, I have a staff that works with us who's able to jump right on the communication to at least let the client know that we're looking at it and have not forgotten about them. I think what makes our law firm different from other firms is my background. I come from a blue-collar background dealing with everyday, normal people. I like to help those types of people get through these issues that maybe they have dealt with before. Most of our clients haven't worked with a lawyer before, and I want to make their experience very comfortable. Our firm is a smaller firm, and the advantage of having a small firm working on your case is that you're always going to get to know your lawyer on a very personal basis. You're never going to be handed off to staff or a lawyer you don't know. We get to know our clients and almost like they're our friends and get very close to them so that they understand that they always know who's working on their case, and they have a direct line of communication to the person who's working directly on their case. Most of the time I am handling the cases personally if I was the lawyer you were introduced with during the initial intake. I do have associates who do work on cases, but if I'm the one who's told you I'm going to be working on your case and I did the intake with you, I will stick with the case throughout it. During the initial consultation for a drug crime, we're going to go through the police report and any other documentation you have to try and develop the best strategy to win the case. At the same time, we're going to talk to you to learn more about you and your own history. Do you have a problem with drugs? Do you have any mental illness? Have you had treatment for drugs or mental illness in the past? Are you using drugs as a way to cope with and manage your own mental illness? These are all things we're going to want to look at. And then if you do need help, we're going to try and get you that help now. get you in with a counselor, get you in with a program. These are things that are only going to help save your life down the road, but also present the best picture of you to the court should we need to fall back on a plea or some other disposition where we might be able to get you treatment as opposed to some form of incarceration.